Shalom, I'm Rabbi Yisroel Goldstein from Chabad of Poway, the father of Rabbi Zalman and Ezequiel Goldstein from Sydney, Australia. It's my pleasure to stand here with Mr. Ezequiel, who came to visit and to bring regards for Rabbi Zalman. Mr. Ezequiel met our son Rabbi Zalman at a Hanukkah event in Zetland. Our son Rabbi Zalman and Esti have been spending a lot of time in Zetland building up the Jewish community there with Friday night services. They are planning to be able to move there and to create a true Jewish presence in Zetland. And for this, I'm very grateful for Mr. Ezequiel for coming here to Poway and to visit with me and to share with me regards from our son. I want to share with you that you are standing in the place of miracles. Some 85 days ago is when a mass shooting occurred here at our Chabad, right here in the lobby where we are standing. For a very brief moment, there was the darkness when the shooter entered here. But then miracles upon miracles began evolving, that God truly showed his true presence here to spare all of us. The shooter got his hatred from what happened in New Zealand, hatred that crossed over continents from New Zealand to Poway. His intent was to do what happened in New Zealand where there was no survivors. That attempt failed, thank God, because God showed so many miracles and individuals showed tremendous amount of resistance, so that he only killed one Lori K of Blessed Memory, sadly, but no one else was killed. So I'm going to walk you through it, how it happened in real time. So it was about 11:15, we were all getting ready for Yizkor. Lori K was standing over there. I came out of the sanctuary, I saw Lori, we spoke for a little bit, and then I went down the hallway here to my office. I come out of the office, and I'm walking down here, and as my back was turned to the front door, I came over here. I'm standing here, I hear the very first gunshots. I turn around, Lori K sadly was killed instantly, and then the shooter, who's standing right in front of this table, looks at me, I look at him, he lifts up his rifle to shoot at me. And I have a fraction of a second to decide what are my options. I could hide over here, I could hide over there, but in back of my back, I heard children's voices. I knew there were children here. My decision was, in that fraction of a second, what is my responsibility as a Jew, as a rabbi? It's not about me, it's about the children. We need to save the children. So that fraction of a second, instant reflex was turn around, grab the children. As I turned around, the shooter began shooting 4 bullets right at me. But because my decision was to save the children, he only got my fingers. I was successfully able to get the children out there. After the children were safe, I came back to run into the line of fire. But when I came back, I discovered that the shooter is no longer there. I was in trepidation, did not know how many people did he successfully kill. So I went to look in the sanctuary. When I got into the sanctuary, I saw, to my total elation, that it was empty. Everyone has fled, which was such an amazing relief. I then ran back into the lobby. They were doing CPR, trying to save Lori's life. I saw everyone was standing outside right there in the front by the tree. They were just sheltering in place. And the only thing I could have done was to go out to be with them. They were totally terror shock. The faces were ashen white. The kippas were all, the talais were all over the place. I grabbed the chair and I stood up on the chair and I said, what happened to us now is a repeat of history. In every generation to rise up against us to take us down, like we just read in the Seder Haggadah. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu matzilenu miyadam, God spared us. Today we were spared, and we're going to be more resolute. We're going to be stronger than ever. We're not going to let this consume us and define us. And I said those words, Am Yisrael Chai, to always remember that the nation of Israel is alive and will always be alive. The first responders, the paramedics, took me to the hospital to get my fingers into surgery. And then later I learned that all the members that were here that day at the shooting did not go home to retrieve and cry and mourn yet. But what they did was, they grabbed the Torah and they went downstairs to my son's house, who lives right next door to the shul. And they continued the services. They continued reading the Haftorah, the Yizkar, and everyone there said the special blessing, the Gomel blessing for surviving this. This to me is the resolute of Judaism of Am Yisrael Chai. What I learned was that Mr. Ezequiel is part of the AJA, the Australian Jewish Association. What you are all about is a voice for Israel, a voice for the Jewish people. What I hope you take is the strength from Poway to learn the resilience, the strength of 2019, that we are standing strong, we're standing powerful. We had a young army veteran who ran into the line of fire to attack the shooter. When he came into the lobby, he screamed so loud, "Get out of here, I'm going to kill you." The neighboring building over there heard the shouts. That's how loud it was. And they were the first ones to call for help. The shooter was so startled by the resistance that he grabbed his rifle and left. He thought he killed many people, but sadly he killed Lori and injured me. There was a young girl that was in the banquet hall, got a little shrapnel, which literally missed her eye just right about here, which is miraculous. Another Israeli veteran got a bullet in his foot, but in his leg, and he's doing okay. We all survived, with the exception of Lori. I lost my right finger. The left finger is not very functional, but it's here. But what's most important is to show the resistance, the resilience, the tenacity, to know that Judaism is very alive and will not tolerate anything less than that. And this is my message to my fellow Australian Jews and to the AJA. Keep on doing what you're doing. When you hear of our son, Rabbi Zalman and Esti, who want to build a community in Zetland, please party with him, partner with him, in honor of us here in Poway, where he grew up. If you could be there for him, let the word out, bring more Jews together, find a place to rent so that they could be able to live there and have services and build a community like we built here. In 1984, when I came, there was nothing here. It was like Zetland is now. And here we have this beautiful community center. We could do the same thing at Zetland with your help. Show the strength of the Jewish community, that there's something that needs to be done. Be the one to make it happen. And on behalf of my wife and I thank you for your solidarity and for your love and your support. Please look after our children, and I look forward the next time I come to Australia to visit them, we'll visit with you as well. God bless you. Am Yisrael Chai.